Hello everybody, welcome to Live Interactive English. I am Shane.
And I'm Nina.
And today we're going to be talking about taking a taxi. So I know that you're going to be going to Japan pretty soon.
Yes, I am.
Where are you going in Japan?
Tokyo.
You're going to Tokyo.
Yes, I'm so excited.
So when you get to Tokyo, you've gotten to your hotel.
Yeah.
How are you going to get around Tokyo? Do you feel comfortable enough, like looking up the public transportation, like the buses and like the subway, or will you just take a taxi everywhere?
I feel like if you take a taxi, you don't really get to experience the country as much. Whereas if you actually put yourself out there, try to figure out the trains and the metro or whatever it is and the buses, I think it'll be more fun.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
The only reason I normally don't take a taxi is because I just am too cheap to do it. Taxis are much more expensive than the public transportation.
Yeah, that's true.
So if I'm traveling, for example, like in Southeast Asia or something like that, I will either rent like a motorbike or a scooter or something, or I'm going to just figure out the local bus routes and just try to save the money.
Okay, so if you had the money, would you be taking a taxi?
I'd probably take a taxi more often. But I've noticed about myself, it doesn't really matter how much money I have. I still feel like I just don't want to waste money on something that I don't need.
But you're saving time.
Okay, all right.
So
pros and cons.
It's like, take 1 hour to take the bus, switch to MRT,
That's true.
do all that, or just take a 20-minute cab ride.
You're right. Time is money. That's a
There
good
you
point.
go.
Okay, let's get into today's lesson.
All right.
Phil is speaking with a hotel staff member.
Here's your receipt. Hope you enjoyed your stay.
Actually, there's one more thing I was hoping you could help me with. I'm not having much success in ordering a taxi on my phone, so could you call a taxi for me? I'm heading to the airport.
Sure. Everyone's taking a taxi this morning. It must be because of the rain.
How much is the fare, by the way, and how long will it take to get to the airport?
It usually costs around $40. It should take about 30 minutes to get to Terminal 1, but it depends on traffic, of course.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, welcome back. So now we're going to be talking about taking a taxi part 1. Okay, so here we're talking about requesting a taxi. So request is a verb, and it means to ask for something politely or formally, right?
Right.
So I'm requesting Shane to stop doing whatever he's doing.
I am just sitting here very politely and quietly.
Are you though?
Usually.
All right, for example, Joe requested extra sauce on his pizza.
Right. Yeah, so it is usually more polite, more formal.
Yes.
Otherwise, you just ask a friend hey, I'm asking you, please just be quiet.
Yeah, just stop being annoying.
Okay, so Phil is speaking with a hotel staff member.
Okay.
Staff
member.
Staff. All right, this is a confusing word sometimes for people. I've noticed in Taiwan especially, they'll say, I was talking to a staff. What they usually mean is a staff member. If we use staff, right, it means all the workers as a group who are part of a business, organization, a company, something like that.
Yes.
So it refers to the whole group of people.
Exactly. So you could say speak to the staff, right? But you don't say speak to a staff.
Yeah, right. So the staff would mean, though, you're going to talk to somebody probably in all of the members of the staff. So for example, there will be a staff meeting at 3 o'clock. So in other words, all the staff members will have to go to this meeting, which is the staff there.
Yes.
Okay, so you are the staff member?
Okay.
And I am Phil.
All right.
Okay.
So the staff member says, here's your receipt. Hope you enjoyed your stay. Okay, so receipt. I'm sure everyone knows that when you buy something, you usually get a receipt back, right?
Right.
So a receipt is basically a written statement saying that money has been paid or you received the goods, right?
Exactly. If you pay for something, it's just proving that you paid for it, right?
Exactly. So, for example, after paying for her groceries, my mom always checks the receipt for mistakes.
Do you do that?
I try to. I do it sometimes, you know. I check my change if it's right or not.
Yeah.
But the receipts, it's like sometimes, you know.
I always check because I feel like before I noticed, I wasn't really checking very often. And one time I had a question because it was a sale.
Yeah.
And when I noticed the guy maybe didn't seem like he marked in the sales price. And so afterwards I checked, and then there was like a couple of mistakes there. And I'm telling you, I feel like almost half the time if I go grocery shopping, there's always like some mistake.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, people make mistakes, right? It's humans.
Or sometimes the advertised price is there, right, when you're shopping for the thing. But in the computer system, maybe that sale is over and they haven't taken down the advertisement in the store.
That's true.
Things like that happen quite often, and you have to prove it to them.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll say, okay, we'll just give you the sales price.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right, so Phil says, actually, there's one more thing I was hoping you could help me with. I'm not having much success in ordering a taxi on my phone, so could you call a taxi for me? I'm heading to the airport.
Okay, so he's asking.
He's got a lot to say there. That's a long sentence there, right?
Yeah. So he's looking for a cab, right? He couldn't do it from his phone. Maybe he was trying to get an Uber. Maybe it was raining.
Right, but he's not having much success. If you don't have much success at doing something, that just means you're having a difficult time doing it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's heading to the airport.
That means he's about to go there.
Yeah, if you're heading somewhere, it means you're going towards somewhere, you're going somewhere. Okay?
All right, so the staff member says, sure, everyone's taking a taxi this morning. It must be because of the rain. I was right.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, right. So when it's raining or the weather's really bad, could be snow, maybe it's super, super hot, people just don't want to be out in the weather, so the taxis, right, get all filled up.
Exactly. So it's harder to request a taxi, right? Unless maybe sometimes you can call directly to the company and they'll arrange one for you.
Right. Okay. So Phil says, how much is the fare, by the way? And how long will it take to get to the airport?
Okay, so these are good questions, right? Because usually staff members would know this.
Yeah.
They often call taxis for people.
They should know that, right? If they're good staff members.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is this fare? So a fare is the money that you pay to travel by bus, plane, taxi, that type of transportation, right? So we call it a fare. So it is normally going to just be, well, when you're talking about a fare, it's going to be for something like a plane, taxi, bus, something like that.
Okay.
So for example, you can say regular bus fare in Taipei is 15 NT dollars.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
All right, so the staff member says, it usually costs around $40. It should take about 30 minutes to get to Terminal 1, but it depends on traffic, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like that's pretty standard. Like 30, 40 US dollars.
Yeah.
I feel like everywhere I've flown, like the major airport to like the downtown, always costs around that much money when you take a taxi.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's something that I've noticed, so it does seem pretty standard.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not too expensive, right?
It depends. Public transportation's a lot cheaper.
That's true. All right.
Okay, so Phil says, perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Right, so he's like, okay, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you pay for the convenience, right?
Yeah.
So.
And the older you get, especially, the more you want that convenience.
Yeah.
Right? You're carrying all this heavy luggage and things like that. You just can't be bothered, right?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't we take a break? Speaking of getting old, I need to take a break.
Typical Shane. Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。这次的绘画主题是 Taking a Taxi 计程车英语。那我们来看到这个第一段对话，它的小标题是 Requesting a Taxi 叫计程车。这边它用到 request 这个动词呢，表示要求、请求，常常是指正式的要求、请求。好，那么对话一开始啊，饭店人员就把收据递给 Phil， 希望他在这里的住宿体验是愉快的。
不过 Phil 他就有一件事想要请饭店人员帮忙，因为他用手机来叫计程车不太顺利耶，想要请饭店人员帮他叫一辆计程车送他去机场，然后他也有顺便问了车资还有车程时间。饭店人员说车资通常是40元美金左右，那到第一航厦大约是需要30分钟，不过还是要视交通状况而定啦。我们来看看单字 staff 它表示全体员工职员或是全体工作人员。那如果你要指一位工作人员，你可以用 a staff member 去表示。再来 receipt 表示收据，是个名词，注意它的 p 没有发音。然后 fare 这个字呢，表示车资、旅费或是票价，尤其是指搭乘各种交通工具的费用。像我们就可以用 bus fare 来表达公车票价。好，那这边一个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，那我们来看这个重点 head。它本来当名词是指头嘛，那现在当动词呢，它可以表达前往或是朝什么方向走。像我们说 head home 就可以表达回家。Head south 就是往南走，朝南方前进等等。那我们常常会用 head to 或者是 head for 加上名词去表达前往某地。那我们看两个例句。We hopped on the bus and headed to the beach. 我们搭公车前往海滩。They left the restaurant and headed for the movie theater. 他们离开餐厅并前往电影院。好，那补充一下，如果你是说 head back to 加上名词，则可以表达回到某处。例如 He headed back to the office after lunch. 他吃完午餐后就回办公室了。好，接回到课文中。
Anne approaches the front desk at a hotel.
Hello, I'm staying in room 225. Anne Faubert.
Yes, what can I do for you, Miss Faubert?
Could you call a cab for us? We'd like to go to the Science Museum. And please ask them to send a taxi with a car seat, if possible. We have a 4-year-old.
Sure, I'll do that for you right away.
Thank you so much. I should tip the driver when we get to the museum, right? How much should I tip?
A standard tip is around 20%.
Welcome back, everybody. Okay, so now we've got part 2, arranging for a child-friendly taxi.
A child-friendly taxi.
So this is a taxi that is a child and it's a friendly child? Or like, what? What does that mean?
Friendly to children, as in like it is prepared for children or they allow it, right?
Okay, so if it's something friendly, what else could you have besides child-friendly?
Pet-friendly.
All right.
Yes, so you have pet-friendly hotels, you can take your pet there, or you have pet-friendly Uber rides.
Oh, really? They have that
Yes,
now?
now they have that. I think some Uber drivers don't want to take pets, so there are specific Uber drivers for that.
Interesting. I've never known that because I've had to take my cat, which is already in a cage, to the veterinarian sometimes. And I don't ask them. I just get in with the cat, and no one has ever refused me service.
Oh, I mean, there has been an Uber driver who's like, do you know that now you can request pet-friendly Ubers because I don't want pets in my taxi?
And I suppose if you have a dog or something, that's much bigger.
Exactly.
Okay, so in this dialogue, we have Anne and the same staff member.
Yes, that's
So
me.
that means that Anne is going to have to be played by me. So I need to play a female staff member.
So maybe change your voice?
Oh, sorry, not. I have to a female customer.
Yeah.
Not a female staff member. Okay, so I'm not going to change my voice. You can use your imagination.
Okay.
Okay, so Anne approaches the front desk at a hotel.
Okay, so she approaches. That means she goes towards or closer to, right?
Right. Okay,
Right.
so Anne says, hello, I'm staying in room 225, Anne Faubert.
Okay, so the staff member says, yes, what can I do for you, Miss Faubert?
Could you call a cab for us? We'd like to go to the Science Museum. And please ask them to send a taxi with a car seat if possible. We have a 4-year-old.
Okay, so I'm guessing a baby car seat, right? Or a toddler car seat.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, because you need a special seat if you're going to be transporting children.
Yeah, because it's safer.
Yeah, and I think it's against the law to transport children. I don't know, in some, at least in the United States, it is against the law to have a toddler in the car without a car seat.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what the laws are in Taiwan.
Okay.
But this kind of changes everything. I'm thinking if I'm going to take a taxi and I'm in a foreign place, like a foreign land somewhere,
Yeah.
if I have a 4-year-old with me, I don't think I want to try to figure out the public transportation.
Yeah, that's going to be too complicated.
I'm just going to get a taxi and go.
Exactly. Okay, so the staff member says, sure, I'll do that for you right away. Very efficient.
Great. Thank you so much. I should tip the driver when we get to the museum, right? How much should I tip?
Okay, so what's tip?
Right, so to tip somebody means to just give them some money for a service that they provided.
Yeah.
And the money is extra than the money for the service. So for example, if you took a taxi ride and it cost $10 US, right? If you give them a tip, that's going to be extra from the $10 US. And typically, you know, what is that, around 15 to 20%?
Yeah, and also I think it depends on the country. In some
Absolutely.
countries you don't really tip, whereas in other countries it's rude if you don't tip.
Right.
All right, so the staff member says a standard tip is around 20%. Okay, that's what you said.
Right, so if you're saying standard here, it's just an adjective meaning normal or usual.
Yes.
Right, so for example, you can say touchscreens are standard on almost all mobile phones.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
normally or usually you're going to see that.
Yeah.
Right? So do you tip taxi drivers in Taiwan? Because in Taiwan, there's not much of a tipping culture.
Yeah, that's true, but I actually do. I usually just have them keep the change. Like for example, if it's like $1.30, I'll just give them $1.50 and I say keep the change. Usually, you know, it's only a little bit, but it's not really a big difference to me, and it probably is they'll be happy to receive a tip.
Yeah, and it's quite convenient if you're using an app, right? Because a lot of apps, right afterwards, you can just choose the tip amount that you want, depending on how good the service was or just how much money that you can afford.
Yeah, do you usually tip?
It depends on my mood.
On your mood.
And the service that was provided.
Ah, that's
so
very true.
If there's really good service, I always tip. But if it's just very, very standard, and I feel like they didn't talk to me or they didn't really do anything and like show some like good customer service, then just have to look at my mood.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, usually when a taxi driver or even a food panda deliverer is very friendly and talkative and is nice, then you lean towards tipping, right?
Right. So I think it's getting more and more common in Taiwan, right? Okay, that's all the time we have for today, and we hope you learned a lot about taking a taxi.
Yes.
See you next time.
Bye.
第二段对话的小标题写到 Arranging for a child-friendly taxi， 安排适合儿童的计程车。那这边用到 child-friendly 就是表达对儿童友善的，适合儿童的。这个字尾 friendly 表示对什么友善的，那常常就会搭配另外一个词来构成复合形容词。像 Nina 老师就有提到 pet-friendly 就表示对宠物友善的。好，那对话里面的 Anne 她想要请饭店柜台人员帮她叫一辆计程车，那他们要去这个科博馆，如果可能的话，希望可以派一辆有汽车安全座椅的计程车，因为他们有一个4岁的孩子。他也就顺便问了一下说，是不是应该给司机小费？该给多少呢？饭店人员说，标准小费大约是20%，也就是2成。那我们补充一下 ，tip 这个字，它当名词可以指小费，那么当动词就可以表达给小费。Shane 老师就有提到说，在美国啊，给计程车司机的小费通常是15到20%。那这时候老师用到一个副词叫做 typically， 就表示一般、通常或者是典型地，也就是 typically typically。好，另外老师们在讲到小孩子的时候呢，有用到 toddler 这个名词 toddler。toddler 就表示学步的幼儿，也就是还在学走路的小朋友这样。好，那么以上是这个讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
Phil is speaking with a hotel staff member.
Here's your receipt. Hope you enjoyed your stay.
Actually, there's one more thing I was hoping you could help me with. I'm not having much success in ordering a taxi on my phone, so could you call a taxi for me? I'm heading to the airport.
Sure. Everyone's taking a taxi this morning. It must be because of the rain.
How much is the fare, by the way, and how long will it take to get to the airport?
It usually costs around $40. It should take about 30 minutes to get to Terminal 1, but it depends on traffic, of course.
Perfect. Thank you.
Anne approaches the front desk at a hotel.
Hello, I'm staying in room 225. Anne Faubert.
Yes, what can I do for you, Miss Faubert?
Could you call a cab for us? We'd like to go to the Science Museum. And please ask them to send a taxi with a car seat, if possible. We have a 4-year-old.
Sure, I'll do that for you right away.
Thank you so much. I should tip the driver when we get to the museum, right? How much should I tip?
A standard tip is around 20%.
Hello, I'm Matt.
And I'm Winnie.
Today we're playing Guess the Bear. We each have 3 cards with vocabulary words on them and example sentences where those words are replaced with the word bear. We'll each read the sentences and have 1 minute to see if we can guess all 3 words or phrases. Okay, Winnie, you ready? You're up first.
Okay.
So we got 1 minute on the clock. All right, I'll read for you, you guess. Let's start. All right, first one is a verb. My family bared a larger room for our stay. And my teacher bears that we don't use our phones.
Asks?
Not quite, it's similar.
Okay.
All right, let's try the next one. Next one is a noun. Members of the bear are available to help. He always tips the weight bear more than 15%.
Staff.
That's right. And next one is a noun with 2 words. So my nephew sits in the back in his bear. I took my newborn home in her own bear.
Car seat?
Yes. Okay, back to that first one. It's the verb, my family bared a larger room for our stay, and my teacher bears that we don't use our phones.
Cleared. Prepared?
Not quite. You were more similar with an ask.
Oh.
Okay, so it was like ask, but the word is request.
Request.
Right, so my family requested a larger room for our stay, and my teacher requests that we don't use our phones. So very similar to ask, but in the usage it's not quite the same.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Okay, my turn.
Your turn now, okay? And the clock starts now. Okay. This one is a noun, 1 word. You need to have a bear to return this purchase. I got a bear from the taxi driver to pay my fare.
Receipt?
Good. This one is a noun, 1 word. Bus fare this year is going up to $2. A one-way bear on the train isn't expensive.
Fair?
Yes.
Okay.
Phrase, 2 words. The taxi driver asked where I'm bared bear. Where are you bared bear for vacation next week?
Going to?
Close.
Bound for?
Close. Closer to the previous one.
Can you read it again?
The taxi driver asked where I'm bared bear. Where are you bared bear for vacation next week?
Where are you? Bared bear.
Where I'm
Destined for?
No.
Oh.
Oh, so it was a phrase, 2 words, head to.
Head to, okay.
The taxi driver asked where I'm headed to.
Okay.
Where are you headed to for vacation next week?
Okay.
There's so many similarities. Yeah.